So Hungary was involved a lot in World War II, the Austria-Hungarian Empire. And then also after that, they were ruled by Russia. So they actually had communism for several years. And it's interesting interacting with the people now to see the effects that communism had. When you go to the cities, you'll see all of this beautiful architecture, very European style. Much of it's run down now, but much of it's still very pretty. But then you'll also see these 10-story buildings that are just concrete blocks. And that's an aftermath of the communist era. They just built all these apartment buildings that are all around. They also took down a lot of the Hungarian statues and put up communist statues, just trying to change the mentality a little. But it's great to see how the Hungarians have kind of kept their own being through all of that. Communism's definitely played a role and it hasn't necessarily been easy for many of the Hungarians. They would tell stories of how they had to learn Russian in school, but they didn't want to learn Russian, and so many of them don't remember it now. But at the same time, they have really good relations with the Russians and Ukrainians and other cultures. But it's neat how, in many ways, they're taking the history that they have and they're adapting and becoming a stronger people because of that. Those 10 rises, those 10-story apartment buildings that I mentioned, they're taking the concrete and they're painting it now, bright colors. So when you drive around the larger cities, you see these really tall buildings that have bright colors everywhere, all at the side of it. But for me, it's really happy to see that the people are overcoming things that they saw as difficulties in their past and really standing true. Something that's very common with Hungarians, they've had different times where they've revolted because of the things that have happened to them. And one of those times, they took the Hungarian flag, and there had been a crest from a different country, their crest put on the flag. But the Hungarians revolted and they cut out the crest, so there was a hole in the flag. And so that's a very common symbol now of Hungarian freedom, because they'll have their flag with a hole in the center, just remembering how they overcame some of the difficulties that they had when they were ruled by other countries.